Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. Happy Valentine's Day. And to stick with that theme, today I'm going to give you the top stocks that investors love right now. I probably should have worn red or had a red background or something. I did not think that far in advance. But what I did do is I went to public, I went to a site called StockTwits, and both of these obviously have a massive base of investors and they track information on who's buying what. If you go to public, they have a top what's popular on public list that has 20 stocks, and then StockTwits put out a list of 10 stocks that were extremely popular in 2022. So one starts off with everything that people were buying in 2022, and then public's list changes on a daily basis. So I just pull the top ones together and we're going to go through 7 of them now. Why 7 and not 10? Because some of these, we want to keep it condensed, okay? And then some of these you probably already know, like one of those was Microsoft, okay? Everybody knows that, right? So I wanted to get the ones that are a little bit off the beaten path and then give you some that I do actually own and then some I don't. So do keep this in mind. Just because it is on this list, it's just what people like, okay? What people love. This doesn't mean I'm going to invest in it just because it is popular, okay? I've said many times before, just because it is profitable or just because it is popular doesn't mean it is profitable, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, the first one on the list is Aurora Cannabis. That stock symbol is ACB. They're a cannabis company. They are not doing well. Now, I'll also give you another spoiler warning here. Every stock on here in 2022 did not do well. Thankfully, we're not in 2022 anymore. Therefore, some of these might do well this year. I don't know if that's going to be Aurora Cannabis for me. Reason is, Aurora Cannabis, I can't call it the original meme stock, but this was a company that did extremely well, a stock rather, did extremely well between 2016 and 2017 on the hopes that there was going to be a wave of legalization of marijuana in the US, and in some instances that was true. It was legalized on the state level in a lot of places, but until it is legalized on the federal level, it is going to go through a lot of issues. I'm not going to get into the weeds, but basically, for example, you can't have a bank, a regular bank that's FDIC insured, that you can put your money in many cases because it's illegal on the federal level. Therefore, in some cases, if you own a dispensary, you may have to drive to the state capitol to pay your taxes in cash. And you may have to do that every month, every quarter, whenever the taxes are due. And it also makes a lot of these places targets. If I know that you can only deal in cash because credit card companies don't want to deal with you because of the federal law, then a lot of not bank robberies, but a lot of robberies happen at these places too. So it's an unfortunate situation. It probably should be legalized on the federal level, but until that happens, I really don't see Aurora Cannabis being a valuable company. We don't have any timeline as to when that is supposed to occur. The thought was with a Democratic Congress and Democratic president, I guess this would have been in 2020 when he took office, or 2021 when he took office technically, that was the expectation that was going to happen. Did not. So there you go. I don't know what the timeline is. But Aurora Cannabis is one of the most popular stocks that people are loving right now, but not one that I would invest in. Next one here is AMC. That's not a surprise to see them on any list. What I am surprised is to see them still on this list because obviously they were a meme stock at the height of the meme stock craze in 2020. It is extended all the way through to 2023. Now the stock is also negative during that time as well, I believe. But it is interesting that they have stretched it out. I don't think it's a good business. Will I be going to see Ant-Man at an AMC this weekend? Yeah, I probably will. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to save the fortunes of the company. I don't think it is run well. I don't think the company is running properly. Let's say it that way. The reason is they're just doing some weird things. So positive things. Let's start with the positive. They did do a partnership with Zoom. They're going to create Zoom rooms where I guess Zoom is not doing well either. But basically, you walk into one of these massive theaters, you can stream Zoom, have a giant meeting. I guess that is popular or at least worth it to some people. So that is one thing on the positive note. On a negative note, they did do that weird stock dividend and issue new shares under the ticker symbol APE. I thought that was a gimmick. They also bought a gold mine a few months ago. I think it was in New Mexico. What was the point in doing that? I don't know why you would buy an actual gold mine if you were a theater. I think there's other things you could probably do. but it is what it is. AMC is up there. AMC shareholders are very aggressive. I don't know why, because whether what I think about the stock does not influence whether the stock goes up or down. And I've been told many a times, I'll say something about AMC and the comments will light up and say, hey, don't talk about my stock, blah, 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 you're being paid, all kind of stuff. One, I'm not, but two, it's just interesting. It's rare that you see a group of people defend the stock so harshly. I really don't understand why. People invest in Apple all the time, and whether you like Apple or not, people don't really come, with pitchforks because you talked about Apple, and no one cares to defend Tim Cook. Some of y'all don't even know the CEO's name, right, of Apple, but a lot of people know of some of these cult followings when it comes to some stocks. I'll go on a rant on that. We'll say that for another day. All right. So next one here is Coinbase. Coinbase, COIN, is their stock symbol. I am, if you can't tell by my face, unless you're listening on podcast, I'm shocked that Coinbase is up here just because of how bad crypto was last year. And all the crypto companies that are disintegrating in front of our faces. I mean, we covered several of them that went bankrupt. FTX is one of the largest ones. Just interesting that they're still up here. Now, from what I can tell, financially they are solvent, meaning they are still going to be alive. Also, Coinbase has been around for more than 10 years. I did find it interesting that if you were watching the Super Bowl, how many crypto commercials do you see this year? I didn't see any. Okay, I saw 0 crypto commercials this year. Last year, it felt like every other crypto commercial or every other commercial was some cryptocurrency. It was Matt Damon. They renamed the Staples Center where the Lakers plays into Crypto.com arena. Like it was high time for crypto. FTX obviously got the Miami Stadium where the Heat played. That got renamed pretty quickly. It's just interesting how, one Super Bowl is all crypto and the next one is not. Coinbase was one of those that had one of the most infamous commercials, or famous commercials, I guess, that had the QR code on the screen, and it was the most talked about ad last year. They are nowhere to be found now. So just throwing it out there, just really interesting. Not a company I would invest in right now. There are so many things we need to learn about crypto before we move forward, and it's just one of the most unstable places to invest. Do I still own a little bit of Bitcoin? Yeah, I still have a little bit of Ethereum. I'm not even dollar cost averaging into it until things start to shake out a bit more, but I do still own it, and I'm planning on selling it. I also don't plan on adding any more, and no, I don't own any of Coinbase currently. Next here is Apple. I don't really need to go into Apple. It is one of the most popular companies for reasons that I think we know. It was at one point the most valuable company on the face of the earth. And that is a fact. It was one of the few companies that ever hit $1 trillion market cap. Obviously, it has fallen off since then. They did have they announced their earnings a few weeks ago, and we did find out that they had the lowest or the biggest drop in sales since 2016. That is relatively significant. But if I look at 2016 to 2022, I do see that the stock is still up. So that is a saving grace that if you're investing in the long term, history says that investing in Apple is usually a good thing to go with. So we'll see what happens there. We also know that financially they're relatively solid, and at least they hired well, or at least they're managing their capital well, because so far they're still one of the only major tech companies that have not announced any major layoffs, which is great for the people that are working at Apple. Next here is Disney. Disney, I have a complicated relationship with Disney the stock. Disney the company, I've already said I'm going to go see Ant-Man, so it is what it is. But it's a nostalgic company because everybody touches Disney in one way or another. If you're a sports fan, you watch ESPN, you know Disney. If you are watching Good Morning America or anything like ABC, that's Disney. Marvel, Mickey Mouse, obviously, and even Star Wars, all under the Disney umbrella, Disneyland, Disney World. The list goes on. So everybody does touch it. So I think, especially when people say like you should invest in things that you buy or that you patronize, I don't necessarily agree with that all the time, but it's one that's natural, right? Especially before I had kids, people always say, have kids, get them Disney stock, they're going to absolutely love it. When I was a financial advisor, they were teaching people how to buy the actual physical certificates of Disney because people loved Disney so much. Problem is, Disney as a stock with the exception of the year 2020, has not done well. We also note that has some shakeup and replaced the CEO with the old CEO within like 18 months or so. So they're going through a little bit of a management shakeup. They are reorganizing some things. I did a podcast on the Investing Flavor podcast called the Wall Street Chat with myself and Andre. We talked a little bit about the changes they're doing at Disney. Will it work? We'll see. They also lost subscribers on Disney Plus in the last quarter. So again, for me, it's a no, just because over the long term, it really hasn't done well with the exception of 2020. So that's not a stock that I would invest in, but I understand the emotional pull to invest in Disney. So that one is a no for me. Next one here is Google. That is one that is, I think, obviously popular for what was a good reason. We'll see how this whole AI thing shakes out. We'll see. And Google has taken a bit of a dip since those announcements, but long term, obviously one of the best stocks that you can own. That is one of the two stocks on this entire list as I'm looking here. I do have Apple, I have Google. That's it. This entire stock that everybody else loves is only two that I love enough to put my money into. So I think we all know Google. I don't think we need to go too much further into that one. The last one here is Meta, which this is interesting. I understand why Meta would have been one of the most popular stocks before 2022. I have no idea why it is still popular now, because it lost 70% last year and the game has absolutely changed for a company like Meta. The interesting thing too, and again, while I'm folding my arms for those who are watching, they're changing their ticker symbol back to FB for Facebook. I don't know why they changed it. I mean, we talked about why they changed their name to Meta. I don't think they had to do that. But they're changing it back from Meta to the ticker symbol FB for Facebook. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, they are losing a little bit of direction, if you ask me, but it's just interesting. The other issue, which I have talked about at length, really going back to 2021, is that with Apple's new privacy rules, they are basically asking people when you download an app not to track. That's something that has been detrimental to not only Facebook's business model, but TikTok to a degree, Snapchat, Pinterest, all these social media apps are not able to track people the way that they want to and that they should be able to do to serve up relevant ads. Advertising is the main way that a lot of these companies get paid, and Apple has stamped out a lot of that, and that is something that has hurt a lot of these companies, Meta being, or Facebook, whatever they want to call themselves, being one of the main ones. So I don't know where they're going to go in 2022. I had shares of Meta for probably close to 10 years and sold out of it inside my own retirement account because I'm not going to deal with it no more. So I sold out of it and replaced it with something else. So I'm really not excited for wherever they're going to go as a company, even though of all these newfangled technologies, metaverse, cryptocurrencies, artificial intelligence. I actually believe in the metaverse. That might be weird to say, at least coming from me. I believe in AI a lot more because it's a lot more useful at this point in time. But I like the metaverse. I have an Oculus headset. It's nice. It's cool. It's interesting. Does it make sense to build an entire company based on that? I don't know. We've also seen that CVS went pretty big into the metaverse, but they started to buy digital land to have storefronts inside the metaverse. I thought that was weird, but they did it. They spent actual money doing that. So we'll see where it goes in the next, I guess, 5 years or so. But that's it. The top 7 right now, companies that investors love the most. We have Royal Cannabis, Coinbase, AMC. I'm doing this sort of by memory, even though the list is right here in front of my face. Apple, Disney, Google, and Meta. So those are the top 7 right now. That is it for me today. I will say though that we did cover an additional list on some of the best stocks to actually invest in, and that was inside the members only. So you want to make sure that you click this link here or that you go down into the description because we do exclusive videos each and every week. All right, that's it for me. Talk to you later. Bye.